Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have discussed about that hook, that means the VueJs hook. In this video, I want to discuss about one of the most important part in VueJs, that is Axio request. So what is exactly that Axio request? Like when you want to read any data from to the database table, then you can do this work in VueJs with using that Axio request. So if you want to read any data from to the database, then this Axio request is very much important one of the part. So when we will create our project, into the project we will use that Axio request lot of the time. Okay, so this is very much important one of the things that you have to understand. So for doing this, I want to do that work in our that page, that means here. Okay, so right now we don't need this button, so I just simply remove this button, and that is our h1 tag. Into the h1 tag here I define as a post. Okay, I just define one of the name as a post, and that is our hooked, and also there is a return. So here we don't need this, I just simply remove it. So right now we don't need this. There is a method, so here I only want to take one of the methods. Okay, like that is a method, so I just simply delete it. And also we don't need this, I just simply remove all the things from here. Okay, so I just simply remove it. Perfect. Now that is h1. So if you want to add some of the css for this h1, you can also do that work in our style. So here I define one of the h1. Okay, I define one of the h1 class, and here I define that color. So I simply define that color, and for the color here I define as a red. Okay, I just want to use that red, and I define the text align. So I just simply define the text align, and for the text align I just want to use that center. Okay, so here I defining it, and now if you click on the save all and now go to your page, yeah, you can see that is actually the post. So for using that Axios, first of all you have to support that Axios, that means you have to install it. But when you will working with the Laravel automatically Axio installed. So right now I'm using that VueJs total is complete fresh project. So for the reasons here we have to install it. So for install it, we have to go to our directory, that means here that is our directory. I just define as a cmd, and now I define as a npm because I want to work in our npm, and then you have to define as a install. Okay, I want to install Axios, AXIOS, and then the save. So I just simply defining it. And now if you click on the enter, so now it will be install all that our Axios file, and it will be added in our project. So it may take little time, so you have to wait for it. So better when it will be done, then I'll come back again. So now you can see our Axio is successfully installed in our system. So here I want to do, first of all, if you go to our project, and here I want to get all that our request. Okay, so here I want to get all that requests. So if you want to get all that request, I have already discussed about that things with you in our, if you go to the hook, into the hook that is actually created. So into the hook, this function, that means the create function, first of all when you load that page, before that load it's automatically run that project, right? So now I want to use that hook. So I think we already discussed about that things with you. So if you want to use it, like there is our methods, into the after that method here I want to use that create. Okay, I just define that created, I want to use that created hook. So here I just simply define that method. So here I just simply define it, and now I want to get all the data, like I just define as a Axios. Okay, I just simply as a Axios, and here I want to get, and that means here if you get any data, if it is true, then it should be work another part, like then I just define as a then. Okay, and else, so else it should be display another things. So for the reasons here I define as a catch. Okay, then I just simply define as a catch. That means first of all if you get any data, then it should be work, else it should be work this catch function. Okay, so that is actually the main concept of this Axios. So now I want to check it. So right now I don't have any database, I don't have any database table. So how I can actually get all that request? So if you want to get that request, you can get it like if you go to that Google, and if you search with the JSON placeholder. Okay, JSON placeholder. So I just simply define that JSON placeholder. So they are actually providing some of the APIs, like some of the fake APIs. Okay, so now I just open it, go to our JSON APIs on here. So that's all that fake. Okay, so here now I want to use it. Like you can see, there is actually the example fetch. So some of the APIs, if you want to try it, like there is a post. Okay, there is a post, command, album, photos, and there is all that get post. So that's all that route. So if you're already working with the Laravel, then I think you already know about it. What is actually the get method? There is a post method, there is put method, the patch method. Okay, and also there is a use your own data. Okay, so now here I want to working with our these resources, and that is our post. So like if you click on the post, and now here you can see there is all that fake some of the data. Like there is an ID, there is a title. So there is a title, there is into the body, they have some of the message, and there is another ID, there is another title data. So all that actually fake data. So now I want to get that request. Okay, so here that is actually the request. So I just simply copy it. And now if you go to your site, and here if you get that request, so for the reasons here I want to define that request in particular that position. So if we get this request, then what exactly it should be do? Okay, then it should be work in our then position, and into the then area I just simply define that as a response. Okay, I just simply define that response, and into the response I just simply define one of the console mode. So here I want to load it. Okay, so I want to load one of the response. I just define the console. First of all, I want to check it. So console log, and into the console log I want to pass our this response. So I just simply pass that response. Okay, so and also here I am using that Axios. So here we have to also load it. Like here we have to load it in particular that position. So here I want to import. So I just simply define as import. Okay, I just define as input Axios. So here I define as a Axios. So I just simply copy it, and here I import Axios and form. Okay, I just simply define the form our Axios. So here into the double single quotation, here I have to define as a Axios. So I just simply defining it. Okay, so now I just simply define that part, and now if you want to check it, that means if you want to check that request, as I told you, if we getting that data appropriately, then our this function will be work, else it should be work in our this catch function. Okay, so now first of all I want to check it. Like if you click on the save all, I just click on the save all, and now go to our site. That means here I just refresh it again. Now open it, I just click on the impact, and now go to the console, and into the console here you can see that is all that our object data. So that is all that our data. You can see that is our all the data request. You can see that is actually ID, that is actually the title, and that is our body. So that's all that request. You can see they have some of the request, all that some of the data. So it's perfectly getting all the data in perfectly and display that things in our data area. Okay, so you can see there's all the data is now perfectly getting on particular that position, and there is a headers, there is a configure, there is a request, there is also the status. So there is all the database field. So there is all the demo, one of the database table, and all the database table field, and now it's perfectly getting all the data. So friend, I think you can well understand about it. And now also if you want to do that work, like here I getting all that our data, and I just take that data in our this property area into the property area. Better I want to define one of the post. Okay, like here I define as a one of the property as a post, and into the post property I want to define one of the array. So here I define one of the array. Okay, so now I want to access this array data. So here if you want to do that work, so right now we don't need this, I just remove it. I just remove that console, and here if you want to use our this property, then what exactly you have to do? You have to define that with the this, right? I have discussed a lot of the time with this. So with this I want to access our this post, that means this property. I just simply defining it, and then I getting all the data, and here I take the things with this response, right? That means in our response they have the data. So I just simply define as a response and then data. Okay, and else, that means here if you getting any error, that means if we didn't get any data, then it should be display some of the error. So here I define some of the error as error. Okay, I just simply take all that our error in particular that position, and take the things with this error, and then I want to check it with the console. So into the console, okay, into the console log I want to display our this error. So I just take that our error in particular that area, and now I just simply display that error. Friend, I think it's very much clear to you what exactly the things I did on here. So I just getting all that our request, and then I just take the things with this response. With this response, I just simply define our one of the array. Into the array, I want to display all that our property details. For the reasons, if you want to access this property, then you have to define into the method area as a this and the post, that means this property name, and then I just simply define with this all data, take the things with this response, and here I just simply define our store our all the response data. And else it should be display our another part. That means if we didn't get any data, then it should be show our error in our log area. Okay, so like if you now click on the save all, I just click on the save all. Now refresh our page. So now here you can see it's not showing any data. It's because of all, if you go here, I get all that our requests. Into the request, they have some of the ID, they have some of the title data, they have some of the body data, right? So now I want to visible all the data in our that page. So in particular that position, I have already get that request and take the things with this post. So that means in our property area, I just define as a post, and that is our array. So now I want to visible it. So if you want to visible it, when you get all the data in Laravel, what exactly we did? When you get any data, we just display that things with this for each, right? So here also we have to define our for each. That means that is our hook. In particular that area, there is a post. Okay, better after that post, I define one of the HR. So I just simply define one of the HR, and then I just simply define one of the div. So I just simply define the div, and also here I want to finish that div. So I just simply finish it. So into the div here, I want to define one of the condition as a v, and the for, I think you already know about it. So here I define as a v for condition, that means the for loop, and into the for loop first will be as a singular. Here you can see that is the postage. So here I have to define as a singular first as a post. Okay, post in the postage. So I just simply define as a plural right now. So now also here they have some of the like there is actually the ID. So here I want to define that ID with the key. So here I defining it. So in Laravel, if you know to show that numberized data, then you already know about it, that key. So here I bind that key. Okay, so I just simply define bind it a key. So key, that means in our post, into the post there is a field as ID. Okay, that means with this post I want to actually get all that our request, right? I get all that our request and take the things with this post. So now we can actually use that in our with this post, and into the post they have one of the field as ID. If you go here, you can see they have some of the ID. And now I also want to visible our title and the body. So here that is our post ID, and cause here when you update it, then we'll need that ID. We will update it specific with this ID. Okay, so it should be needed then. So now I want to take another h2 tag. So I just simply define that h2, and I just finish that h2, and here I want to display our post. Okay, I want to display our post title. So I just simply define with this post, because with this post I get all that data, right? So if you already know that Laravel, I think you already know what exactly the things I did on here. I getting all that request, take the things with this post. So now I just in VueJs, that system is that first of all you have to define that with the singular and the plural. So if you want to display all the your database field, then you have to define that things with this singular area. Okay, that means this singular property. So now I just simply define with this post, and with the post I want to define our title. So I just simply define that field name, that means the database field name, as a title. Okay, sorry. So here I just define the title, and also for the body I take another one. I take another p tag, and also I want to finish that p tag, and here with this post. Okay, with this post now I want to visible our body. So I just simply copy it, and here I just simply define that body. So now let's check this out. If you click on the save all, I just click on the save all, and here that is all that our data. So that is the request I just get, the ID, title, body. So now it should be visible in our page. Yes, now you can see it's now perfectly visible our all the title, and that is a description. That is a title, that is a description. Okay, so that means we getting all that our appropriate data, that means all that our fake demo data. So here it's now perfectly getting all the data and visible it in our page. So friend, I think it's very much clear to you. So here I get all the data from with this request, because right now we don't have any database. I didn't create any database table. So here I'm using some of the demo, some of the fake data with this one, and then I just fetch all the data. Okay, I just fetch all the data and display all the data in particular that area in our Vue.js. So friend, in our next video, I want to discuss about the filters. As I told you before, I will create another video for a specific that filters. Better in our next video, I will show you how that filter actually work in Vue.js. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.